Ms. Hans, you got it tuned in to listener-powered KEXP. This is the Roadhouse. Happy to be with you this evening, sitting in for Greg. Got special guests in here very shortly. Got author Pat Thomas and Sean Jewell, friend of the show and station, to be chatting about the new book.
Yeah, sounds awesome. While we're talking about all this stuff, let's have some more tunes from this era. Is there something we can?
Let's see here. Okay, here's something kind of freaky. The Yippies enjoyed a close association with many rock bands. I mentioned the Airplane, the Fugs, Ed Sanders, Thule. Those guys were all Yippies. And one of the Yippies' first sort of major things that they did is they decided they were going to march on Washington, D.C. And the original idea was to stand in front of the Capitol building and, sort of petition Congress. And Rubin said, the heart of the military-industrial complex is not the Capitol, it's the Pentagon, right? And then Abby Hoffman said, let's try to levitate the Pentagon. And the idea was they'd form a circle around the entire Pentagon and chant and all this stuff. And to prove that truth is always stranger than fiction, about a week before the levitation, they had to have a meeting with the park, whoever runs like the Washington, D.C. parks. And they said, well, if you're going to levitate the Pentagon, you can only levitate it 2 feet, right? And then the other thing is they were having trouble getting, media attention about this event before it happened. And so LBJ, Lyndon Johnson, the president, said, I'm not going to let these hippies levitate the Pentagon. And that became the front page news. And then Jerry Rubin said, well, thank you, LBJ. There was only 10,000 people who knew about this event. Now 10 million people know about it. Thank you very much. Anyway, this is the Fugs. This was recorded live at that event. This is called Out Demons Out. This is track 4.
Awesome. Levitating here on the Roadhouse, 90.3 KEXP Seattle.
Of the amulets of touching, seeing, groping, hearing, and loving, we call upon the powers of the cosmos to protect our ceremonies. In the name of Zeus, in the name of Anubis, god of the dead, in the name of all those skilled for causes they do not comprehend, in the name of the lives of the dead soldiers in Vietnam who were killed because of a bad karma, in the name of sea-born Aphrodite, in the name of the Magna Mater Deo Medea, in the name of Dionysius, Zagreus, Jesus, Iao, Sabaoth, Yahweh, the unnameable, the quintessent finality, the Zoroastrian fire, in the name of Hermes, in the name of the beak of Thoth, in the name of the scarab, in the name of the Tyrone Power Pound Cake Society in the sky, in the name of Ra, Osiris, Horus, Nephthys, Isis, Harpocrates, Eros, Thoth, in the name of the flowing living universe, in the name of the mouth of the robbers, we call upon the Spirit to raise the Pentagon from its destiny and preserve it. In the names and all the names, it is you. Out, demon, out. Out, demon, out. Demon out, demon out, demon out, demon out, out, demons out. 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 For the first time in the history of the Pentagon, there will be a grope in within 100 feet of this place, within 200 feet. Seminal culmination in the spirit of peace and brotherhood. a real grope for peace. All of you who want to protect this right of love may form a circle of protection around the lovers.
Circle of protection. Out, demons, out. Out, demons,
These are
out.
the magic eyes of victory.
Out, demons,
Victory,
out.
victory for peace. Money made.
Another powerful clip from Jerry Rubin here on the Roadhouse, 90.3 KEXP. Thank you so much, Pat, for bringing these in.
Yeah, this is fun. I hope a few people are driving around in their cars right now in Seattle going, what the heck is going on?
I felt the station levitate off the foundation for a second there.
Yeah,
We should have an event for that. We could do it in the gathering space. We could lift the gathering space, just a foot.
Yep. You know, there's a lot of humor here and, a lot of chuckling. But, the thing about the 60s, the thing about Rubin and Abby Hoffman and the Yippies and many other college students and many other groups that weren't Yippies is, the old adage, we're mad as heck and we're not going to take it anymore, And people ask me, why is this book important in 2017? And it's because, we've got a government that is arguably more oppressive than whatever we had with Nixon. And we've seen things like the Women's March right after Trump was elected. Black Lives Matter has gotten more and more powerful. And I think the key thing is whether it's whether it's LBGT, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whatever it is, we all kind of need to come together and realize that we have a common goal, which is a better form of government, save healthcare, save civil rights. And so Rubin's story, the old adage, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. And so that's why we really need to acknowledge what happened in 68, 70, and how we can hopefully do something in 2017.
Yeah, I think all true. And I think another great thing about your book is before I read your book, I have to confess, a lot of these things I thought were the ideas of Abby Hoffman solely. And that was the sort of the impetus for you writing this book, right? Was to draw a little bit of attention to Jerry Rubin as the co-founder, at least, of this movement.
Right. Well, Abby has a more cleaner legacy, if you will. Abby, sort of stayed arguably truer to his ideals, which was he was a kind of a radical all the way up till the end. He, unfortunately killed himself in 1989. Jerry at some point infamously put on a suit and a tie in 1980, and one of the myths, one of the fake news, if you will, I hate that phrase, but I'm going to use it now, is that Rubin was on Wall Street peddling stocks and bonds.